schedule did get released, and I know we both put lists together, our top 6 games for the 2024 season, and I'll let you explain how we're going to do this.
Okay, so how are we going to do this? Are we going to go, alternate me, you, or are we just going to go 6 for 1 our list separately?
I think we should do six for one person, six for the other, so then we can react.
Okay, so I'm going to slowly go down my list. I'm going to go from 6 to 1. Okay,
Yeah,
number 6, we have Thanksgiving early day game. Bears at Lions, which I'm assuming at that point could be for the NFC North divisional crown. Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears will probably be getting their wings underneath them. One of the first division games of the year. And obviously, Jared Goff coming off that fresh 4-year contract extension. And may I have to remind you, last year you thought that Abe Hooker may take over Jared Goff's job. Here, Jared Goff is the Detroit Lion for the next 4 years. The Lions will look to retain and defend their NFC North Championship on Thanksgiving Day.
I like it. Um,
Number
Go ahead.
okay, number 5. This is a game that I already know you told me did not make it on your list, but I had to include it on there just because it is a Super Bowl rematch. Now, there are a lot of games this season that I could throw on there, but to me, if you don't include a Super Bowl rematch, it depends on what other game you have. But I mean, it's Chiefs Niners, it's two of the biggest teams. Again, I don't like either of these two teams, but it is a Super Bowl rematch. It is getting to your TV. It is attention viewing season.
The only reason it didn't make my list was just because it just felt too obvious. So I'm like, nah, I'm going to leave it off and try and find some other games that might not get as much attention.
Okay, number 4. We're sticking with the Niners. Week 17, Monday Night Football, potentially for the number 1 seed in the conference. Rematch of last year's NFC Championship game. Lions, Niners.
I can tell you right now, I also have that game on my list.
Okay. Number 3, very early in the season, the game we talked about last week. They have played in the AFC Championship for 2 out of the last 3 years. We will finally get a healthy Joe Burrow once again going to Arrowhead to take on Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Good choice. I still don't like that this game is early in the season because the last few times it's been late in the season, it's had some type of playoff implications. So I feel like it loses a little bit of that magic in that sense.
It
But
does, but it's Bengals Chiefs for me. It's Joe Burrow against Patrick Mahomes. I'm finding a way to get to a TV.
oh, I agree. I'm I wish I had put it on my list thinking back, but I did not.
Okay, number 2. This is the Monday before Thanksgiving. I wish it was a Thanksgiving night game. The Harbaugh Bowl. Ravens, Chargers. Anytime Jim and John Harbaugh get together, you know how I feel about the Harbaugh as head coaches, and you know how I feel about the Chargers this year. I think they're going to be a much improved team. I think Herbert, his stats may be down because they're going to run the ball more, but he's going to have a very efficient year. And I think it's going to be a swabber knocker and a hell of a matchup with a lot of storylines, obviously.
I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game either because, as we've seen, Baltimore loves to run the football. And the Chargers, it looks like they're going to become more of that power run team. So this feels like it could be like a 21-17 type game rather than like 38-31 or something like that.
And then number 1 on my list, and this is always the number 1 game on my list every single year. It's a
Yep.
it's a personal game. It doesn't matter. Week 17 in Lincoln Financial Field, 425 on Fox, being called by Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady. Dallas, Philly, more than likely, potentially for the NFC East title in Philly. Can I say no more?
I'm genuinely surprised you don't have Saquon's return game on your list?
Like I told you before in March, Saquon Barkley wasn't even my favorite Eagle signing. It's not even on my top 10. I really don't care. The Giants are the worst team in football this year.
Okay, so I'm letting my phone finish doing its updates, but I can remember. Let me see if I can pull up my notes here because my phone decided to do the updates no matter what. Okay, so I have my list here. Number 6, week 2 in Lambeau Field. Anthony Richardson and the Indianapolis Colts take on Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. We saw what the Packers did last season with Jordan Love as their quarterback. We we know what the Colts want to do with Anthony Richardson as their quarterback. I think this is a very interesting matchup. Two young quarterbacks. You got decent wide receiver cores on both sides. I think it's going to be a very sneaky good game.
I have a hot take for the Packers that you will see Monday, Memorial Day, when Brandon's World official early NFL predictions come out.
Okay, number 5 also involves the Green Bay Packers. They are heading to the City of Angels to take on the Los Angeles Rams, week 5 at 4:30. I just talked about the Packers and how they made it to the NFC divisional round, took the 49ers right to the limit. People are thinking the Packers are going to do it again this season. And the Rams, Matthew Stafford gets another season fully healthy this time because we know he's had some injuries in the past. Cooper Kupp is back. They got Blake Corum to go alongside Kyron Williams, so he doesn't have to take on the full brunt of being the only running back. Yes, they lost Aaron Donald, but they went and added Jared Verse, and they added other pieces to try and fill that void. So I'm very high on the Rams this season.
This is my thing on the Rams. If Stafford going to be healthy 2 years in a row, and is Cooper Kupp going to stay healthy, and is the loss of Raheem Morris their defensive coordinator, along with Aaron Donald, who we know obviously our battles on Aaron Donald, but like you kind of think with Jason Kelsey being the heart and soul of the Eagles, that could push them back. I sort of feel that way about the Rams defense, and I don't know about the Rams. They're a wait and see team for me this year.
Okay, that's fair. Number 4, Monday Night Football in Motown. Seattle Seahawks at Detroit Lions. The last 2 times these two teams have played each other, it's been a fantastic game. I'm high on the Seahawks, even though they let me down a little bit last season. I, you and I differ on Geno, but I think he'll have a bounce back year. Um, we'll have to see how Mike McDonald does as head coach, but they still have Tyler Lockett, my favorite player for the Seahawks. They still have no, Doug Baldwin's not there, but I like what they did with their defense. Um, Getting the player from the Giants last season, I forget who it was off the top of my head, but I
So
like what.
there was Jamal Adams, there was Quandre Diggs.
Yes, they
The
did.
safeties are gone. In
Right.
my opinion, they don't have a quarterback, and they're easily third in that division. So I that's the one game I like. The other two on your list, that's the game I don't get. I am not high on Seattle this year at all.
Okay, fair enough. So, and then number 3, I had to include both matchups because I love this rivalry in the AFC North. Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens, Week 11 and Week 16. I love it when these two teams play each other. It is one of my favorite rivalries, not just in the NFL, but all of sports. It's always a It always seems to have a lot on the line when these two teams play each other. There's so much history. I had to include Steelers Ravens.
I
Like,
agree to an extent on that. My worry about it is I think the Steelers got the worst scheduling break in the NFL. They
okay, what the hell is Do the NFL gods just hate the Steelers or
The
something?
NFL wants to ensure Mike Tomlin is on broadcast television next season and not coaching the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let me put it to you that.
Okay. Number two, I agree with you. It's the NFC Championship game rematch, Lions 49ers. You already talked about it. And then number one, Sunday Night Football in Detroit, rematch of the NFC wild card. Matthew Stafford going back to Detroit for a regular season game this time. Rams Lions. This game I think is going to be just as fun as the wild card game was, and I can't wait to watch it.
So I'm going to make a comment here. It's nothing against my list. It's nothing against your list. I think it's a testament to both of our lists that the NFL this year, I thought in particular with the primetime games, if you look at every schedule, Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, even the 425 games on CBS and Fox, they are almost all good. I don't see a scenario where maybe one or two, obviously, you're going to have a team that falls off, but I don't think there's a lot of scenarios where any of these games get flexed. I think this is the strongest primetime schedule the NFL has ever put together.
My one gripe, though, is how do you have Bills Texans as just a regular 1 o'clock game? That,
Listen, some games you're going to have to get sacrificed. There are some games on everybody's schedule that's a one or a four. But I get it because this league right now is loaded with primetime quarterbacks, and not everybody can make every primetime game. It's just the way it is.
right, but like that's Stephon Diggs playing his former team. And they don't even have Kirk Cousins against Minnesota as a primetime game.
And I will defend that. If anything, like that's a Thursday night if you want to make it a prime time. Those aren't two big brands. Um, I think the ones they did put Houston, Chicago, Baltimore, Kansas City on around the Christmas. Like I like that, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Okay, but hey, speaking of Christmas, let's talk about this. The NFL is putting their two Christmas games on Netflix.
They are. And I've had a discussion with this about people over the past few days, and those of you may be surprised to hear my take on it. I don't like it at all. And there's one reason for that, and that's because when you think about your own family, right, wherever you are, if you're traveling on Christmas, if you're going to grandma's house, if you're at home, whatever it may have you, if you are at somebody's house who does not stream, does not have the capability to stream, or God forbid, like I have been, for sometimes during the holiday seasons in a hospital or in a nursing home, or those facilities don't have access to the streaming devices or good Wi-Fi, it's going to be really hard to watch those games. I'm all for the NFL trying out Amazon and Netflix and all these platforms, but do it random Saturday night or even Thursday night football is fine for Amazon. I think for Christmas Day specifically, where it is your third biggest day of the year, outside of the Super Bowl, outside of Thanksgiving, you have taken it completely over from the NBA. I don't like the decision to put your two marquee games on Christmas on a streaming service.
Yeah, because it, as you illustrated, I don't know why my screen is frozen on my end.
You are,
Um,
but I can hear you.
I don't know what happened there, but um, yeah, it seems like a mistake to me as well. Because why would you try and basically limit your audience? That's what I don't get. Like, as you illustrate, how many people still even have Netflix? Or,
A lot of people still have Netflix. The issue will be if you are going over to an older person's, house or like I said, nursing home, hospital, whatever, and they don't have the ability to hook up a device or whatever to the TV to watch Netflix. It's other people don't have Netflix. It's the ability to get Netflix on the TV.
it that almost feels one in the same though, because some people just might have cut their Netflix subscription.
Well,
Um,
I'll be willing to bet that in everybody's family, one person will have Netflix.
you're probably right, but like, why would you take two your two biggest games of the year, arguably, off of cable TV? Like, it makes no sense to me. It
I
really
don't
does.
know if you can see I'm trying to do it well. It's the money sign. That's all it is. The NFL is going for money. The NFL can do whatever they want. We talked about it. They're competing with college football playoffs this year, and college football isn't happy about it. And they're competing with the NBA on Christmas, and the NBA isn't happy about it. I think the NFL did the NBA a favor and didn't schedule a primetime game.